What do exceptional school districts have in common? High-quality instruction, high expectations for all students, a commitment to assessing and evaluating performance and progress, and they are accountable for student success. Lower Merion School District is a high-performing school district with a widely recognized reputation for excellence in education. Given its track record for success, it comes as no surprise that more families are interested in putting down roots in the community.
Lower Merion has always been a coveted area in which to live. The schools have an enormous positive reputation, and many people have come specifically for the schools. They have award-winning schools that have been noted in all kinds of publications. It's not just a local reputation, it's really a national reputation as well.
Between 2011 and 2016, district enrollment grew by more than 1,000 students. The board is resolute in its commitment to accommodate growth by maximizing available resources and maintaining appropriate class sizes to preserve high-quality academic, co-curricular, and extracurricular programming. Planning for the future will require balancing competing demands and interests and making difficult decisions. For example, in a mature, high-density community like Lower Merion School District, planners and decision-makers will not only examine how facilities can be modified to house more students, the impact of growth strategies on parking, open space, traffic, and other issues will also be factored into the decision-making process.
Lower Merion is by far the fastest growing school district in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. No one else has seen the number of students grow over the last 8 years the way we have. Historically, what we've done is we've expanded schools. We've already expanded on Gladwin Elementary, Penn Valley Elementary, and other elementary schools, but we may need to do more expansions, particularly at our secondary levels. We're being efficient with what we have in terms of our resources now. We have what's called a partner school model, and that means that where we have empty space and people are new to the community, we make temporary arrangements for them to be in schools where they have space. This works particularly well at the elementary level. We've already, in some schools, given up art rooms or music rooms or made accommodations within the building, and we would like to get those special areas back.
At the beginning of the 2016-17 school year, nearly 8,400 students were enrolled in the district for the first time since the 1970s. As more students enter district schools, existing facilities are being stressed, and administrators have devised creative solutions for adapting space. Further growth will impact parking, traffic, and congestion.
You know, we have an extraordinary staff in Lower Merion. It was a privilege for me to both be a teacher and then to be a principal. If we're going to have the same facilities, the same school, as the enrollments increase, there is no more room. So that means class size will have to increase. And as you do that, then you take a look at the individual needs of the students. So then it becomes more complex. You think about the curriculum and what you're able to do with that. So that's one of the areas. One of the other things, if you're looking to the future, because that's really, even though we're educating the kids today, we're really educating them for the future. You know, people are collaborating. There are areas where you bring small groups to do problem solving, creativity. If you don't have those spaces, we were always able to make them, you know, whether you're out in the hall, but it's not as conducive. So I think that's like cheating the children of what they really need.
We decided to move to the Lower Merion School District after doing pretty extensive research on schools in the area. We really loved the diversity of the community. We loved how strong the academic record was at these schools. So it felt like a great fit for us. We've been here almost a year now, and so far it's been going very well, but we have started to notice that the enrollment size of the school is already beginning to surpass the sizes of the actual facilities.
The enormous amount of building that's taking place in the district, that does give us a little bit of pause as far as what are you going to do with all those extra families and children that move in.
In our previous school districts, we did have some growth in the community, but the school didn't keep up with it. That put a bit of a strain on the teachers and the classes, and I felt like the students weren't getting quite as much attention, and some of the activities were actually diminished for them.
I think at the end of the day, you want as much growth as you can handle manageably, but you also don't want to put a strain on the resources, which is part of the reason you come to a community like this, in a school district like this.
We picked Lower Merion because its reputation spoke for itself. In Lower Merion, we have an opportunity to take advantage of great opportunities. And in other schools, I hear that there are some great opportunities, but I think what we have is a variety and a depth of clubs and classes and activities that seem to be unmatched. Enrollment growth is a big issue. The buildings can only hold so many kids and so many classrooms. I have an 8th grader and a rising 12th grader, and so they'll both be in Lower Merion High School. And I'm concerned that the class sizes will be too big and that there won't be enough individual attention from teachers, and that they'll be locked out of classes. And that's one of the great things about LM in Harriton is that our kids are offered so many different courses, and if there's too much crowding, I'm afraid they're not going to have an opportunity to take them.
We started out with 65 buses, now we're at 122 buses. 20 years ago, 29 years ago, every bus seemed like there's lots of room left over. You know, there wasn't a lot of kids on every bus. Now there's buses that have very little extra space on them. We used to have like 70 or 80% capacity, now we're closer to 95, 100%. As far as growth centers in the district, what I feel has changed pretty dramatically is there's an area in Wynwood, near Wynwood and Williams. There's an apartment complex. It's been there forever, but it seems like the last 4 years or so it's grown tremendously. The amount of kids, we used to have a few kids on buses at a bus stop in that area, and now there's 15, 20 kids. You know, we'll put 3 buses in there every morning, you know, for high school, middle school, and elementary school. So that's a big change. And there's an apartment complex being built as we speak across the street from that. Who knows what that's going to bring.
When we looked at the original study back in 2014 and 15, we saw, as the district did, tremendous growth patterns that had already begun. And what's happened since then is, the short answer is, that growth has continued. During that time, we've seen births go up, which have a delayed effect and aren't going to impact enrollment for 4, 5, 6 years. We've seen other factors that we cited in the original study, such as the decline in private school enrollment within Lower Merion and Narberth. That has continued and has still gone down even with the latest school year data. We've also seen an increase of students coming from older existing multifamily developments, your apartment developments. Lower Merion and Narberth have a multitude of this type of housing all over the district, and we've seen it more than double since 2006, the number of students coming out of those developments. New housing and construction is certainly a factor. You know, when we did the original study in 2015, all of this multifamily apartment construction had not occurred. It was all on the drawing books. We were seeing over 1,000, almost 2,000 units being proposed at the time, but very little of it, almost none of it, was built yet. And yet the district at that point had even grown over 1,000 students, in the last 6 to 8 years. So now that we have construction actually occurring, it's definitely an impact, and we calculate that impact within our study. The progression rates are based on each class, what happens from year to year. So as a fifth grade class goes to a 6th grade class, do they increase or decrease? In Lower Merion's case, almost all the time, classes are increasing, the sign of a very popular and healthy school district. So growth is expected to continue. Even if the trends do start to change, you're still seeing existing large classes move through the district. History tells us they're going to increase in size over that period. There's one overriding element, and that's the magnetism of the district. And in Lower Merion and Narberth, it's not only the quality of the district and the fact that people want to put their kids through school here, but it's also the living situation.
There's no best option when we try to address the challenge of enrollment growth. However, the board's job is to make the best decision given the information at the time. We have looked at the demographer reports. We've listened very closely to the community and some of the needs that the community has expressed. Additionally, it's important that we honor the core values that our community has supported, that they want low class sizes, they want strong programming, academic extracurricular and co-curricular, and they want us to deliver on strong student outcomes going forward.
We have looked at how actions to enhance growth are being financed. We've worked with our financial advisors, our business administrator, and we've come up with a plan, should we need to, that would allow us to provide for expansions in the future. Some arguments have been made that there's always room in the buildings. And the problem is, if you want the kind of quality program that we currently have, interdisciplinary, team teaching, those kinds of educational enhancements, we are going to need more space. One of the things that community members can do is continue to make their presence known at Board of Education meetings and working with their homeschool associations. Lower Merion is a community that really depends on engagement of their engaged community. You know, when you're dealing with a community with this many smart people, everybody has an opinion. And the interesting thing is, when we use what's best for the community as the central core, multiple opinions will come up with good opportunities for us. When you have such a quality school system, you constantly have people moving in, and we have an obligation to maintain the kind of integrity and central values that Lower Merion has insisted on for their children and their community over the years.
Further growth will impact parking, traffic, and congestion, and demands on recreational and open space. As the district considers its next steps, we encourage community members to stay informed, share information, and visit the district's website.